Topeka city leaders answer our questions, and we hear how area organizations are working to meet some important community needs. That's what we have on this week's Eye on Northeast Kansas podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. This podcast is where we recap some of the top interviews you heard on Eye on Northeast Kansas, the TV show. You can watch it live Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Central Time. We stream it live from our WIBW studios in Topeka, Kansas. Again, 4 o'clock Central Time, Monday through Friday on WIBW.com, or of course, on air, Channel 13. We start our week with some words from City Manager Robert Perez, the city manager for the city of Topeka, making a few headlines over this past week as they announced a new assistant city manager who would oversee police, fire, and emergency management operations in the city. This is a position that really hasn't been in existence, although we asked the city manager where it fits in the budget process, especially as the city has been talking about a $17 million budget shortfall that they're trying to address in 2026, and this position pays $200,000 with a raise built in after several months. In addition, there are some questions about the background of this new assistant city manager. So City Manager Robert Perez Jr. sat down live in the studio to answer some of those questions.
Yes,
you had a news conference this afternoon with Avery Moore, our new assistant city manager. We were live streaming that on WIBW.com. A few things I wanted to follow up with you on that. This position has a $200,000 salary attached with it. You also stated during the news conference that we are perhaps going to be hiring an emergency management director. You have someone in mind for that. The advertised salary was $85,000 to $100,000. So you're talking $300,000 in positions at a time when you're also talking about how do we cut budgets for a $17 million potential deficit. We have a police chief, we have a fire chief, we've been dealing with emergency management. Why do we need these positions?
So, Melissa, first off, these positions have actually been budgeted since last summer. The assistant city manager position was actually posted as a deputy city manager, I believe from August 26th through October 3rd. So, I mean, we've already had these positions on the books. The vision for this position will actually be to provide executive support to it's not just the police chief, but also to police, fire, municipal courts, and emergency management. And very similar to our deputy city manager who oversees our utilities portfolio, utilities development, this position is actually going to ensure that we have collaboration across all the departments. I know oftentimes we like to hear silos, departments are siloed. And so a lot of this is just to ensure that, part of the oversight was to ensure that there's collaboration amongst all those departments. This is, again, a position that's been budgeted since last year, and I've actually been actively recruiting for it since last year. The emergency management position, it's emergency preparedness manager actually that will help us ensure that we have training, ensure that we are collaborating with emergency stakeholders across the community, across the state. This is a position that we did have probably 6 years ago, as I understand, but has been since eliminated. It's right now the way that things are structured. We are actually dependent upon Shawnee County to provide us with emergency management services. Shawnee County is great partners, but if God forbid that we have something along the lines of an IT issue or something, Shawnee County is not necessarily going to help us with response to that type of emergency. Whenever we have straight line winds, whenever we have tornadoes, I mean, it's typically city staff coordinating between public works and other emergency services trying to address those issues. So I do look forward to Avery helping with the collaboration amongst the departments as well as with our area stakeholders.
And Avery himself, coming from Washington State, Dallas before that, and he was asked about this in the news conference this afternoon. The circumstances under which he left Tacoma involved a separation agreement, an investigation, according to various media reports out of there, over how he perhaps utilized some public property for private concerns, a cell phone and an unpaid bill there. And he said in the news conference today that he's made mistakes, he's not perfect, and he strives to own up to them. At the same time, two things: what kind of message it sends to our men and women in public safety who are arguably held to a higher standard when this has happened, but then also someone from out of state when you're trying to tell people, you know, if you work, if you meet goals, if you continue your education, you're going to be able to rise through the ranks. Now they have someone from outside that they have to answer to.
So number one, I will tell you that the last promotion that we had for assistant city manager was internal. Great hire, Braxton Copley, who's actually our deputy city manager now. and bringing in Avery from the outside. Avery, I will tell you that Avery stood out amongst a number of the folks who actually applied for this position. There weren't any folks who actually applied internally for this position. When we posted it, we did get some inquiries from internal staff, but nobody actually applied for it. I will tell you that we have great men and women here in Topeka, as far as those who are serving on our police, fire, even in municipal courts. I will tell you that it's good to have new ideas, fresh ideas. We have a new police chief. Avery has actually served as a police chief. And so Avery has made it very clear that he does not intend to be the police chief. He doesn't want to be the police chief, but he wants to bring some of his knowledge and mentorship to Chris.
At what point did the Tacoma departure questions come up? Did he tell you, hey, here's what happened?
So actually, we didn't start talking. I did not know Avery before this. I knew of him. I knew of Avery's separation from Tacoma, I believe probably late January, early February. His departure, I forget exactly the timeline as far as his departure, but the things that I guess the rumors, if you will, that were brought up. I mean, Avery addressed them earlier. Don't believe everything that you read. As part of the vetting process, before I hired him, I did have an extensive conversation with the mayor of Tacoma. Had a very extensive conversation with the city manager of Austin, who was his previous boss as well. I've also had pretty lengthy discussions with an assistant city manager with the city of San Marcos, who was actually one of Avery's colleagues in Dallas. And so, I mean, I was satisfied with the information that they gave me. I was satisfied with the discussions that I had with Avery, and I trust him moving forward.
All right. It is definitely a conversation we will continue having. We appreciate the city manager coming in and sitting down with us, but those budget discussions continue, so we'll be talking a bit more about that as well. Now on to discussions over some various community needs. One thing that is going to be coming up every fall is open enrollment, and so the Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging is one of those groups that provides some helps navigate walking people through that process, and they are looking right now for the volunteers who could help, whether it be answer questions, direct people to resources, or be counselors for what they call the SHIC program. That is Senior Health Insurance Counseling in Kansas. Pam Brown from JAAA came in to let us know how everyone can help. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
And we're talking about SHIC. What is
We're talking
SHIC? It's not a razor.
It's not a razor. Senior Health Insurance Counseling for Kansas.
And so people sometimes have a lot of questions when it comes to this.
Yes.
What do you need volunteers to do?
We need them to help people look at their Medicare Part D and Medicare Advantage plans October 15 to December 7th.
That's the actual open enrollment. So
yes.
You're asking and bringing this up now because what kind of training or experience do volunteers need, and how do you help them get that?
No experience is needed. Training, you take pre-training and then take not online, but in-person classes for 2 days from 9 to 3.
Do you have certain sessions for those, or do you schedule them as people come up and say, hey, I want to volunteer?
They're already scheduled for July 16 and 17.
Okay, so if people are thinking about this, they might want to do it now. In
Yes.
addition to the actual counselors, what other positions can people do to assist with this process?
We need people to make phone calls, return phone calls for people that call to make appointments. We have some clerical type jobs that they could do.
Why are these counselors so important?
They're so important. Last year we saved $1,486,000 just helping people change from Medicare Advantage or Medicare D to a new plan.
Wow.
So we helped about 1,700 people and saved $1,486,000.
That makes a lot
Yes,
of difference.
it makes a huge difference.
People will train in July, and then is it during open enrollment that they're called upon
Yes,
to do this?
Yes.
Okay. And where does the training take place?
The training takes place at Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging.
And you're located where again?
2910 Southwest Topeka Boulevard.
When people are volunteering as counselors, will they be answering a lot of these questions over the phone or over email, or do people come in
Usually
and see
in
face-to-face?
person. Usually in person.
Why is that face-to-face contact so important, especially when you talk about senior citizens?
We go old school. We go old school, and actually show the people the numbers. If they stayed with their current plan and when they changed to the new plan, we actually lay it all out and show them in dollars and cents how they can save money.
Very compelling information,
Yes.
and don't we all like to save money? Let's put the
Yes.
information on the screen so people know how to get in touch with you. These are for the chic volunteers, the volunteer counselors. You can visit the letter J, hawkaaa.org, or you can give them a call, 785-235-1367. There are also call center volunteers, people who maybe want to go out and present in person. All of that information is there online. Again, the open enrollment is until fall, but the training is coming up in July. So check out the website, the phone number. They will get you all signed up. Pam, such great
Thank you.
information. These volunteers are so important. Appreciate
Yes, they
you
are.
getting
Thank
all
you.
of this spearheaded. Remember, Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging has a variety of resources and help available to the older adults in our community. When we talk about different needs in the community, we might talk about people who are don't have as many financial resources and might need different things. We think about food a lot of times when we talk about that, but we might not think about personal hygiene products. And this past week was Period Poverty Awareness Week. It is an effort that Community Action and the Junior League of Topeka have been working together to address. They actually have a period pantry. Alexandra Drake from Community Action and Kelsey Push from Junior League of Topeka visited to let us know what they have and how they can help people and how you can help them help others. Welcome to both of you. And
Yes,
you know, as we were just discussing with Lamanda, everybody knows about food insecurity and a way to help out with food. This is a basic need. You really can't avoid it biologically, but people don't really think to even ask for help with it. So Alexandra, how great is the need?
Yeah, so it affects 1 in 4 people in our community. And what happens when this happens is that if you don't have products to assist you with your period, you're missing work, you're missing school, and then you're falling behind in other things as well. And then you could have food insecurity like we talked about earlier, other types of things.
So what has Junior League and Community Action done, Kelsey, to address this?
So we have partnered with Community Action and other organizations and schools within Topeka by creating period packs, and we come together, we call them period packing parties, and we purchase items like, you know, typical items that ladies would want to use during that time. We make them little packs and then we donate them so they can easily just be discreetly given out to whoever needs them at the time. And so Community Action has received some of those items as well to help with their clientele that they typically have.
And you call it the Period Pantry?
The period pantry, that's
Now,
correct.
is it like a physical thing that exists somewhere that people can go to, or how do we connect with it?
So you can inquire online on our website, wefightpoverty.org, or you can come into our office, 1000 Southeast Hancock, and you can apply in person. It's not a physical pantry you can go into. You do have to be a Shawnee County resident, show and indicate that you struggle obtaining period products, and then fill out an intake.
And do they come to you to pick them up? Do you have volunteers that go out and deliver them?
So, I mean, if we need to deliver, we're always going to try and get the need out as we can. However, we prefer you come into the office and pick up. You can get 25 products per month.
And thinking about that transportation issue for some folks, Kelsey, you mentioned the schools. How important is that partnership and how does that work?
So I know we have had some teachers who have requested items, and so we have donated period packs to schools specifically to the teachers who are requesting, because they have had students miss school because they do not have the period products they need. And so we have teachers who just keep them in their room, and the students can go up to that teacher or the counselor or the front office and they can go get those period product packs.
And that's really getting it right to the need.
Yes, absolutely.
How much do you need donations to keep this sustained? Especially as, you know, the goal would be to help everybody who needs help out there.
So because periods come every month, we really need constantly an influx of donations to keep this going, and we do rely on community donations and partnerships like with Junior League to keep this going.
How important is this really when you think about the overall health and well-being, and even you mentioned missing school, missing work, just the overall well-being of our economic drivers, of our future in making sure everybody is prepared? Because it's a basic thing that if you're missing school, missing work, you're not going to be able to fulfill your obligations.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you miss work, you miss school, those are kind of against you. You can lose your job, you can start getting lower grades in your classes, and eventually what will that lead to? It'll lead to a community where we're failing.
Absolutely.
Because, and it may seem so small, but you know, women are half the population and we got to take care of them too. And so when we have economic impact, that's when we need to start working on what's the problem, how do we resolve it? And period packs and working with the communities, organizations is what we can do to strive for success on that.
Well, we have talked on the news about businesses or organizations having like special drives for this. Folks, this is something that they have going 24/7. So if you need to apply, right there is the website, wefightpoverty.org. I'm going to have a direct link to the application page on WIBW.com. You can also call 785-836-4544. We know not everyone has access to the internet. And if you want to donate supplies, Amazon.com has a wish list for community action. I'm going to put that direct link on WIBW.com as well, because searching sometimes can get a little funky. So you'll have the direct link online as well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for what you're doing. It's a need we don't really talk about a lot, but obviously it's a great one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be sure to check out that link on their website if you would like to donate or if you are someone who is in need of assistance with these resources. We talked about, again, food insecurity being a growing need when you think about people who have limited financial resources. That is something that the Topeka Rescue Mission Ministries is working every day to address, and they encourage you to look to various community partners who also are working to meet the need and can help you if you are one of those who needs assistance. LaManda Cunningham and John Roberts from TRM came on the show to talk about it. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Food is a big topic of discussion. LaManda, what have you been seeing through TRM when it comes to the need for food and the issue with food insecurity?
Sure. You know, we're seeing an increase both in our community meals that we serve every evening, 7 days a week, and we're also seeing an increase in people accessing our drive-through food pantry during the distribution center times on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What is concerning, and it's hard to find the balance because we don't want to send out the alarms, right? We want to trust the Lord to provide, but we're seeing the need for food increase, but we're seeing resources decrease. And so trying to find the right balance of informing the community that TRM's food bank, but also other incredible food banks across the community are in need of help right now with food.
How much do you work with those community partners, John, in trying to identify who can help where and who has enough, who maybe needs more?
Yeah, we have been collaborating with several of our food partners through Live Well, Shawnee County. So many of the food pantries have come together, and that's been a really fruitful collaboration that we're comparing just big picture vision and strategies, as well as on a smaller scale, how to locate resources and different tips. And so definitely as the community has felt kind of the economic crunch that has caused some of the food insecurity to go up, there's also an increased collaborative spirit, which is encouraging.
Are you all hearing anything? Because there is a lot of fear regarding grants and maybe some entities that get grants, some that don't. You know, Harvesters was talking about losing potentially some funding that could make the amount of food that they put out go down. What are you all hearing from the feelers that you have out around the area when it comes to that?
Yes, you know, we're hearing the same thing. We haven't seen anything hardcore happen just yet. And so it's one of those things that right now we're doing the balancing act of trying to get ahead of what a lot of our incredible partners could be facing that receive, whether it's federal aid or governmental dollars of some sort that might not come through. So we're trying to brace ourselves at TRM for trying to help with some of that slack that other partners and agencies might not be able to do. But the other side of it is inflation and cost of things. We're also seeing a difficulty in being able to purchase items and everything because the costs are so expensive. And so, you know, I think ways that can really help is somebody thinking, man, I want to do something. What can I do? There are lots of agencies around that have food banks, and all of us would be blessed to receive an Amazon order that can be sent directly to our addresses. Or if you're at the grocery store and you're buying 4 cans of corn, can you buy 8? And donate another 4 cans. Those little things make a big difference to small pantries and the larger ones.
For people on the other end of it, the people who need the help, John, who should they reach out to? What kind of connections can you help make? I mean, you don't want people to think, oh my gosh, there's no help out there, because there is. How do we find it?
Yeah, would definitely recommend that anyone call us at the Topeka Rescue Mission. We'd be happy to share our food distribution schedule as well as our community dinner, but then we would also pass on any other resources that we have of the other food pantries. I know the Topeka Library also often has resource guides and handouts, so if someone's in need of knowing where around town could they get food assistance, that would also be a good resource for them.
I think, too, let's stress for folks, if you would, whoever wants to put it more eloquently than I can, that you don't have to be homeless to be struggling and to need help. And that's okay if you need help once in a while.
Sure. I was just at a speaking event today, Melissa, where I explained, because of incredible partners like United Way of Kaw Valley, some of the smaller food pantries, the larger ones, the distributors like Harvesters, what we're seeing at the rescue mission is people that are able to come through, and because they get a $50 food bag, they're able to pay that $50 water bill. And so some of our food insecurity efforts are also upstream, not just reactiveness to someone experiencing homelessness. We're trying to help people to be able to have the basic needs supplied so that those dollars can be spread further and that they end up still being able to pay car payments, still being able to pay gas to get to and from transportation for work. So it is really both reactive with homelessness or food insecurity, but it's also a way that we're trying to help our community not worsen in those areas.
So reach out, and if you are able to help, good advice. Do that if you are able to. John, Lamanda, appreciate the update. And
thanks, Melissa.
Letting people know about making connections. Appreciate
Yes.
you. I want to wrap up this half of the Eye on Northeast Kansas podcast with looking at an anniversary that we are very proud in Topeka to have played a role in. It's the Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas, U.S. Supreme Court decision handed down 71 years ago, May 17th. A community discussion was held in Topeka to mark this anniversary and the issues that remain, the conversations that need to be had still. The 70th anniversary Brown Coalition continues to remain active, and several members of that, Dr. Burl New and Glenda Washington, joined us to talk about the meaning and legacy of Brown v. Board today, along with Dr. Bruce McTavish. He is an associate dean over at Washburn University. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for being here to tell us about it. I always love revisiting this anniversary every year because not only did Topeka play such a big role in it, but it was an impact felt around the country. Dr. New, what does it mean to you, this anniversary every year?
Well, every year it's very special, but this year especially, Dr. McTavish just shared that it would have been 71 years ago that Topeka celebrated the decision on Sunday evening, May 18th. So it is an excellent time to come back and to remember that.
And you're connected to the case somewhat.
Well, I knew of Mr. Oh, gracious.
McKinley
Burnett. How could I forget his name? I was thinking of Brown. But yes, McKinley Burnett. And I attended Monroe Elementary School.
One of the all-black schools in Topeka.
Yes, it was. When I attended, it was, of course, integrated, but still had that wonderful group of teachers who were very committed to our success.
Absolutely. And now it is home to the Brown versus Board National Historic Park. Glenda, when you think about the importance of continuing this conversation, because that's what it's called, the title of the presentation, a message for our times, a discussion with Tim Wise. This approach to it, who is Tim Wise, first of all, and why is he good to help lead this conversation?
Well, Tim he's been in our community before. I think this is his third visit.
Oh, goodness.
And he is a activist, a author, a number of different things. And he basically has an open conversation across the community of the U.S. talking about just this thing, anti-racism. And we don't like to talk about this anymore, but my mother always said, if you don't talk about it, it doesn't get any better. So we're having the open conversation. Tim will be on first, and then we'll have a series of questions and answers talking about, what's our next step. We know, and we need to accept the fact that the climate has changed, and we need to talk about it. If you don't talk about it, it doesn't get any better.
We don't want to go backward. We want to keep going forward.
We don't.
Bruce, Washburn's involvement. Why is this the good place to have the discussion, and why did you say, sure, come on over?
Well, I think one of the important ways in which any university should contribute to its community is just what Glenda was saying. Have conversations, and conversations about questions that matter, conversations of interest to our community. And I think we have been, for decades, Washburn has been involved through the Brown Foundation in hosting events. Members of the faculty and I involved in the opening of the Brown National Park and ongoing teaching of classes and that sort of thing. But I think ultimately a responsibility of a university is to host those kinds of conversations and those kind of educational opportunities.
How would you classify, or why would you say people need to make some time and come to this event Sunday, Burl?
The theme of our 70th anniversary celebrations, now plural, has been the power of collective action. And we know that when we all come together and bring our composite ideas, what we can also do as far as actions, then we can see changes, and it's not just coming from one sector. It's coming from everyone's contributions.
And how about for you, Glenda? Why do you continue to be involved in this event?
Because of that, number one. Number two, because of the history that it made. It changed the world. And I won't just say the country, it changed the entire world. And what a better way to kind of commit your time to be involved in the future of it all.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, when we speak of the future, Bruce, I really think of the Washburn students. Why would you even suggest students of all ages?
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do with the wonderful stories that are still here in our community. And I was sharing one with Burl a little before. McKinley Burnett, he was our local NAAC president. On the day that decision was announced, a reporter found him from a newspaper here in town. Among the comments he made was, "I can now sing 'My country 'tis of thee' and not be a hypocrite." And I think the poignancy and the power of that, knowing what the country meant before and then what it meant after that decision.
That conversation with Tim Wise has already taken place, but still feel it's important to mark the anniversary and also commemorate why it remains so vital in today's conversations. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk about some great community activities happening around Kansas. Welcome back to the Eye on Northeast Kansas podcast. We are headed into summertime, and Shawnee County is ready. Commissioner Bill Rippon told us about what is in store this year with our parks and pools. And this is a sure sign that summer is right around the corner. Just a week away from splash pads opening?
I know. It's pool season's just about here. The splash pads open a little earlier, like a week earlier than the pools and all the aquatic centers. We have 3 aquatic centers now. We have the one at 21st and Urish, the Midwest Aquatic Center. We have the one Shawnee North. And then we have the one
Blaisdell
Pool, right?
How
Thank
can
you.
you forget that?
Yeah. And then we have some neighborhood pools, Garfield, Hillcrest, and Oakland, which is a new pool.
I was going to say, so big headline for the pools this summer is the new pool in Oakland will be open for the full season, not just a little one-day teaser.
We had a little soft opening last year. But it'll be open all pool season this year.
What are some of the nice, exciting things about the Oakland pool?
Of course, it has water slides, but it has like a little lazy river thing that you can, kind of a current you go against or go with it, either way. But I think that'll be a lot of fun. And it's just nice to have, nice new locker rooms, restrooms, and all that. And it's just a refresh.
How important are some of those things to the neighborhoods, especially as you assess? It would be nice to say, well, you know what, we've got 3 aquatic centers, everybody can just go there. But these are places that are neighborhood gathering spots.
These are neighborhood gathering places, and it's kind of a community pride thing. They like their pools, and the kids love it. It's a place to go and cool off, and I think it's important to the communities.
And also, we should note that the swimming pools and aquatic centers, same admission as last year, no price increases.
That's correct. The neighborhood type pools there, it's $3 for everyone, except if you're under 2, you get in free. And the aquatic centers, it's $8 for adults, and then if you're below 13, it's like $6. And once again, if you're under 2, you're free.
Still looking good for the number of lifeguards. We'll be able to open everything on time.
I think we're looking good, but if you're a lifeguard and you want to sign up, we're not going to turn you down.
Always nice to have extras in case someone,
That's
you
right.
never know when someone might get sick or be on vacation.
That's right.
Adventure Cove is another big water feature that the county has. What's new at Adventure Cove at Lake Shawnee this season?
Okay, we have this Thunderdome. It's a new inflatable.
The Thunderdome. This is not like Mad Max or anything like that.
Thunderdome. It's this dome, but it's not a solid dome. It's a thing you climb on. It's all inflatable. We have a number of inflatable things out there. But you can also rent a kayak, a canoe, a paddle boat, or a paddle board, and kind of tool around the cove there, and that's always fun.
I should ask, because we did, it's summer when KDHE starts sending out the blue-green algae alerts, and so Lake Shawnee is under a blue-green algae warning. How does that play into when Adventure Cove might open? How much do you just have to keep an eye on
We
things?
just have to keep an eye on it. state of Kansas, KDHE, Wildlife Parks, they kind of keep an eye on it for us a little bit and let us know if it's at a level where we can't have people there. But hopefully, knock on wood, everything will be good this year.
Okay, so we'll just keep an eye on that and let people know as we get closer to opening date for Adventure
Absolutely.
Cove if it's going to be able to open on time or if you're going to have to wait for that warning status to pass. The other big piece, of course, okay, summer, Spirit of Kansas, that was fun this week.
Oh, yes. You know, it's more than just a fireworks display. We're going to have there's a car show out there, a blues festival. The golf course has a tournament that day. But at 10 o'clock when it's good and dark, they start the fireworks and there's synchronized music to it, and everybody has a great time.
Capital Federal, the title sponsor, and we, of course, are very pleased to be sponsoring Spirit of Kansas again. Love partnering on that event. The other big thing commissioners did this week was you finally celebrated. You celebrated the culmination of these renovations at the Shawnee County Courthouse. How important was this project?
Well, you know, that courthouse was built in 1965, and a lot of things we replaced were original equipment. We put new heating, air conditioning units in. We put new windows in the building. All the fluorescent lights are gone now, and the LED lights. We had to add 2 more courtrooms, and it's more than just a courtroom. You have a judge's chamber and their office for their staff and whatnot. So that's what made us buy a building across the street, and we moved the commissioners out of there. Our legal department, HR, and IT have all moved over to the other building to make room for these courts. I guess it is a courthouse after all, so when they expanded, we had to move out to make room for it. But it's good to have it finished up, and it looks good. And
Why was it worth the investment, do you think?
Yes, it was something we needed to do. It was, the windows leaked, and the heating, air conditioning was kind of iffy at times.
It was sketch, right? The DA was here earlier this week. He said sometimes it would be like 95 degrees and not quite so pleasant if you were not just working there, but if you were a visitor or there to see a court case.
Oh, you might have one room that's real cold, another one that's hot, and we have a jury room now, which is really a critical thing to have. Instead of jurors just hanging out in the hallway during trials and whatnot, they have a place to go, so they're not. There's not a chance of them talking to somebody in the public and saying the wrong thing that might create a mistrial or something.
More secure all the way around. Bill Rippon, Shawnee County Commissioner, appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Melissa.
That is always a lot of fun. And we always have a lot of organizations who are working to make sure that all kids have fun in the summertime and all year round, and that they are supported in their efforts. Children and families are a key focus for the United Way of Kaw Valley. Their Day of Giving is coming up June 4th, a one-day effort to support the United Way of Kaw Valley and in exchange, all of their partner organizations. Angel Romero came on the show to tell us why this effort is so important each and every year. And it is like, mark your calendar, circle it, start doing your research now. What is Day of Giving for those who've never heard of it?
Absolutely. So this is our 6th annual Day of Giving for United Way of Kaw Valley. So as we approach the end of our annual campaign every year, we like to give people one last really exciting time where they can go online. It's a 24-hour opportunity to go online and invest in all different kinds of areas of work for United Way of Kaw Valley. Whether you want to help kids, whether you want to help seniors, families, there's so many. There are actually 9 different ways people can choose to invest their dollars, and United Way's work on that day.
And there are four counties, correct?
There are.
What is the United Way of Kaw Valley coverage area?
Yeah, so we cover Shawnee, Jackson, Jefferson, and Douglas counties. So on that Day of Giving, folks from all over the area can donate to projects that cover all 4 counties that we serve.
What I really like, Angel, about Day of Giving and how you all have been approaching it the past 6 years is it's also a chance to really highlight your various partners in the community. How are you going to do that this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So the part of the strength of United Way is the strength of our partners. And so there's going to be lots of opportunities. Of course, folks get to tune into WIBW all this month, especially in those last weeks leading up to Day of Giving. So folks can watch this program and they'll get to hear from a number of our partners that are working in various parts of our work and where people will have the chance to invest dollars that impact them on the Day of Giving. And of course, people can listen to the radio stations in Lawrence as well through our Great Plains media partners, so they can listen on the radio or they can watch us on TV or they could see us on social media, so they can't escape us.
There's no escaping Angel. When we think about the different impact areas, you said there are 9 of them, but give us a taste of what those areas are.
Yeah, absolutely. So it could be things like in Shawnee County, investing in preschool education, early childhood education, our programs out at Pine Ridge Prep that help get kiddos ready for kindergarten. In Douglas County, we're really excited for folks to have the chance to invest in our racial equity grants, in our community navigation work we do that's connecting people to resources. Up in Jackson County, folks will have the chance to invest in food support, since we know food insecurity is such an important need in Jackson County as well as the rest of our communities we serve too.
Lot of need. We see it at the food giveaways that we cover. What is your goal this year? How lofty of a goal are we talking?
Yeah, so last year was our biggest year yet. So last year we raised $35,000. So we're up in ante this year. So this year our goal is $40,000.
Wow.
And I think we could do it.
And that's part of the overall campaign goal. What is that goal, and how are you doing in meeting that goal?
Yeah, so our overall goal for Shawnee County is to raise $1.7 million. We are, as of today, just a little over $1.4 million. So we're sitting, just under 300 grand short of our goal here in Shawnee County. And that's part of why the Day of Giving is so important for us. It's that final chance to close that gap. We know every dollar we come up short of that campaign goal, especially in the moment that we're in right now, means we have to make really difficult decisions.
We have mentioned that on our news yesterday. If you're watching 13 News, we talked about the reductions in funding for AmeriCorps, which in your case specifically, for United Way Kaw Valley specifically, is 2 positions that had coordinated volunteers. But when I think about some of your partners, like the Boys and Girls Clubs in Lawrence and Manhattan's outside United Way Kaw Valley, but they as well, dozens of positions that they are short. How has that news and then the uncertainty just of the whole grant picture overall, federal funding, maybe changed or added importance to this year's campaign?
Yeah, nonprofits are really kind of living day by day right now because things are changing so fast. And we know, especially when it comes to volunteers, we rely on, volunteers have always been important to us, but especially now in the wake of what we're seeing and the potential changes that makes for staffing needs at agencies, volunteerism is going to be more important. At the same time that these changes are happening, we know that families are also feeling the crunch of things too. So need has not subsided at all in the community. So our services are in more demand than ever, but we know nonprofits are being forced to really think about how to do more with less. And so it really is a critical time. We can only be strong as a sector, as a nonprofit sector, when we have that support from the community.
Calling on those who are able to give a bit of themselves to do so. Angel Romero, thank you very much. Day of Giving is June 4th. We're going to let you know a lot more about it as we approach, but get those wheels rolling right now. UWKVdayofgiving.org is where you can go to check out those impact areas already. Angel, we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks talking about everything there is for Day of Giving.
Heck yeah.
Thank you. If you keep listening to Eye on Northeast Kansas, whether it be the podcast or the show every day of the week, we're going to continue featuring some of the partner organizations that will benefit through the United Way of Kaw Valley's Day of Giving. So keep tuned for that. A big thing that happens over the summer months, baseball, of course, right? Baseball and apple pie. Well, the American Legion around the United States has been having a summer baseball program. It marks its 100th year this summer. The Kansas program has been there for 99 of those 100 years. Scott Martin told us how American Legion Baseball in Kansas is marking this centennial summer. What is really the ultimate goal of the Legion Baseball program?
We're to promote sportsmanship, patriotism. It also helps these young men grow. I've seen over the last 3 years now, I've seen a lot of these young men grow not only as players, but as young men themselves. We have a lot of the kids that participate statewide that get scholarships to go on and play college ball. So,
who fields these teams? How do we find them and make those connections?
Well, they're sponsored by American Legions, and they're all over the state. We have 3 teams right here in Topeka. We have a 15 under team, 17 and under, and a 19 and under team here in Topeka. And if you want to find out more about them, or if you have a kid that wants to maybe try out for the team, they can go to Topeka Senators American Legion Baseball Facebook page and send them a message and that. Also, if you trying to find a team or you want to know how to get one started, you can go to KSAMLegionBaseball.org, and There's information there, and there's also contact information where you can reach out to one of us.
I had nephews for many years play on the Silver Lake Legion team, so there is some good baseball to be had. What special things are happening for the 100th year?
Well, we have the 100-year patch that the players are going to be wearing. Also, every year we try to recognize Lou Gehrig, who, as we know, passed away from ALS, and that is going to be on June 2nd this year. So there's going to be, every team's doing their own thing, so I can't tell you exactly what everything is that's going to be going on.
It'll just be a lot of fun.
It will be.
And the 15 and under, that's a new league this year?
That's brand new this year.
So what is the hope and the thought on getting kids involved at even younger ages?
Getting kids hope to get them involved at a younger age and then bring them up through the ranks. It also gives those college kids or college coaches that are watching American Legion baseball, they get to see these kids progress over the next few years as they're coming up.
Is it too late to find a team? Are all the signups complete, or can we still maybe find some teams looking for players?
We can definitely find some spots if you want to play. All
right. Well, as Scott mentioned, the place to go, your clearinghouse for all things Kansas American Legion baseball is KSAMLegionBaseball.org. Also, Joe Durham is the state program coordinator. His number's there on your screen as well, 785-202-1040. And everybody should keep watch because some of the state tournaments are going to take place in Topeka at the end of the summer. Hiawatha is going to host one as well.
Right. The 17 and under and 19 and under state tournaments will be out at Bettis, out at the lake.
Great place and great fun. Scott, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Legion
Melissa.
Baseball,
Appreciate
100 years. Summer baseball might just be getting started, but we are already looking toward fall when the Topeka Symphony will kick off a new season. And this one, we are told, is binge-worthy. Music director and conductor Kyle Wiley-Pickett joined us on the show to announce the theme for the upcoming Topeka Symphony season. The theme is binge-worthy.
Binge-worthy.
I love it. You're borrowing a little bit from other media.
We are. Well, you remember a couple years ago, actually last year, we blew up the couch, and it was get people off their couch. Because after the pandemic, people were kind of used to binging.
Now you're going to put them back on the couch.
We're going to get them to come out to the hall, but we're still going to be able to binge. And what we've got, I'm really excited about next season. It's always thrilling to announce a new year of music, and all of the concerts next year are based around this idea of having some sort of really compelling story with compelling characters and represented in music.
So not necessarily movie themed or TV themed.
Not necessarily, but there is some. We've got a great Pops concert on tap. It's all John Williams music. So from not just Star Wars, but we've got Harry Potter, E.T., Jaws, Catch Me If You Can, all of his.
If you don't know John Williams, then you know his music.
Yeah, and you know John Williams.
That's pretty impressive. So this is the cover for your pamphlet announcing the series. What does it start with, and then kind of take us through some of the things.
So we begin with Don Juan. Don Juan is, of course, a compelling character, and a swashbuckler and seducer, and there's a wonderful piece for the orchestra representing Don Juan in music. And then later in the season, we go into.
I like the little snowman.
The snowman.
I mean, are we going to let it go with the snowman?
We're going to have No, it's the Snowman movie. It was this Academy Award nominated animated film with an orchestral score, and so we're going to show the film while we play the score, which is really fun.
Oh, fun!
Yeah. And then we've got Billy the Kid. I mean, you can't beat Billy the Kid as far as a great story. That's Aaron Copland's score to that. We've got The Clown, which is Petrushka, another ballet story.
Yeah, but he looks kind of spooky.
Yeah, he dies in it. So that's our true crime. That's our true crime
the
story.
True crime theme.
That's right. So it's going to be a great year. And we have some amazing soloists coming in also.
Okay.
We have a percussion ensemble coming in to be a soloist group for us. Sandbox Percussion Quartet, and they are playing a piece that will just blow you away. I mean, it's all the percussion instruments and then a bunch of things that aren't instruments that are being used as instruments, like, you know, those little cans of air you use to squirt off, you know, clean off your keyboard. You know, they play those cans of air with
like
the
Stomp.
orchestra. Kind of like Stomp. Yeah, kind of like Stomp.
with a symphony.
Right.
So what comes first here, chicken or egg? Do you keep a theme and then choose the musical selections, or do you think of here are all the selections we want to do and now let's build them around a theme?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, and it's a little bit of both. I mean, it usually starts with a couple pieces. So a couple pieces that I know we want to do, and then what unites these thematically, and then, oh, well, that fits, and then we'll find other pieces that fit in with that theme. So little chicken and egg.
Okay, well, that is the upcoming season. Let's let you know the dates, because we still have to finish this season, which we're going to talk about later this week.
Later this week,
Bingeworthy is going to start in September with Don Juan, and it'll take you through November with The Color and Light. December, The Snowman is the Christmas concert this year. Billy the Kid, the Clown, and then, of course, the Pops concert on May 2nd. So topekasymphony.org is where you can find all the information on the 2025-2026 season. We love helping you get to know all of the things in store for the Topeka Symphony. So keep watching on the Red Couch, and you'll be able to get a look at those concerts as each and every one gets closer. Also, remember, you can see the videos from all of these segments and all of our guests on Eye on Northeast Kansas on our website, WIBW.com. I also post the links along with our studio selfies for a little behind-the-scenes smile on my Facebook page, WIBW Melissa Bruner. Thanks so much for listening this week. Until next time, we'll see you on the Red Couch.